game that we're going to talk about. Chargers going to New England. Patriots are 6-point underdogs. 40 is the over-under. Ben, what do you think about this Patriots game?
To me, there are 2 games left that the Pats could win, and this is sneaky one of them. So I'm kind of worried about that. But I'm going to go with the Chargers. I'm really hoping that the Chargers get it done. To me, they just have so many weapons at their disposal. We have no way of stopping those weapons. Our offense can't keep pace with them. Regardless of who's starting at quarterback, they both suck. They're both horrible. Even though they don't have Joey Bosa anymore, Khalil Mack has, in a way, become the most underrated player in the league because he is still disgusting, and no one seems to want to give him that credit. He's not what Khalil Mack used to be, but he can still go out there and get 2 to 3 sacks in any given game. So you can't rule him out at all. And our O-line's a fucking disgrace. But I'm going to take the Chargers in this one. I'll put it at around 24-10. I'll go 24-10 San Diego, or LA, not San Diego, LA.
And the report just came out earlier today that, and this is not a surprise, Brandon Staley most likely will get fired somewhat, whether it's a week near the end or after the season, unless they make a drastic change in terms of the way their season's going. Very unlikely, but I think Staley's going to be out of there. But for now, this is an interesting game. I don't see how the over-under could be this much because the Pats cannot score. We just don't know how to score. And giving us 6 points is kind of crazy when we can't score.
I mean,
that shows
the Chargers have also been horrible.
That's what I'm saying. That shows how badly the Chargers have been. I know there's a stat I saw. Deron Bland, the cornerback for the Cowboys, if you put his interceptions up as if he was a receiver, receptions, yards, touchdowns, he's like 10 times better than Quentin Johnston, which was their pick from TCU, their receiver. I mean, they have just not been a well-run, well-functioning, they have been decreasing with Herbert more so than they've been increasing, which is crazy.
Pathetic.
And just as an organization, it's just tough. It's really tough.
It's got to the point where the Chargers have to be cursed, honestly. Like, I can't remember if I was talking to you about this last week or someone else the other day. You got Dan Fouts for 20 years. You got Breeze, and then he breaks his shoulder, and you ship him out of town. You have Phillip Rivers for damn near 20 years. And then you have Herbert for...
Yeah.
How long has he been in the league now? Like 6 years? 5, 6 years?
It been
really
a while.
Hasn't been that short of a time. I mean, it's kind of like the Tatum syndrome where you're kind of like, oh, he's only been in the league for a few years. No, he's actually been here for over 5 years now. He's actually been here for a long time.
And before you know it, if nothing changes,
before you know it, it's 10 years in, you're done nothing.
Exactly, and we're looking exactly like a Phillip Rivers situation where it's just like, holy shit, we just wasted his career.
Exactly, and that's a complete disaster scenario for the Chargers. I think Herbert is better than Rivers. I know it's a bit of a mouthful given how underrated Phillip Rivers is in his own right. Phillip Rivers does not get the credit that he deserves for the great career that he had. But you have your best quarterback since Fouts, who outside of LT is probably the best player in franchise history. So yeah, they really have to get it done. But I'm kind of worried about it, and I'll tell you what. Another reason I'm worried about it, you're seeing all the Bill Chargers rumors, which we said before anyone else. So I don't want to hear anyone taking credit for that other than us. That was us,
and we clips started to prove that
tape. Yes, we do. We have the receipts. Anyone
Robert
wants to check those out?
We've got the receipts.
We have it all on our YouTube and our Instagram channels. But I'm really worried that for once this year, Bill might step up and actually coach a great game because this is like an audition to coach the Chargers next year. If he goes in there and just puts on a clinic and finds a way to slow down the Chargers offense with Herbert, like he's shown in the past, he's beaten him twice already with a bad team and Max rookie year, which was a good team. But he's shown success against Herbert in the past, which I'm very worried about. Obviously, it's a completely different situation this year. But to me, that's why this is a winnable game. Bill's going to look at it as an audition, and he kind of has Herbert's number. So I'm kind of worried that they might squeak this one out.
And I think the Chargers